My name is BenFlyingRetro, and I'm embarking on a quest to purchase every classic GI Joe comic from the original 80s and 90s Marvel run.
Warning.
Hunting down individual issues from every corner of the globe in whatever order the universe decides to give me. Join me and my pal Steve every week as we discuss my latest find. Welcome to Chasing Joe. Chasing Joe. It's Thursday, it's at BenFlyingRetro, it's Chasing Joe. There's no more it's to say apart from welcome, S-Jubs. It's the best day of the week.
S-Jubs on a Thursday with Chasing Joe and Ben. Hello.
God, you're looking healthy, youthful. What's to be said?
You need to get your eyes checked, son. Healthy and youthful. Last night, I had drinks with a friend, and man, you cannot drink with impunity into your 40s anymore. Oh boy.
No. Was there a G.I. Joe spin on these drinks?
Oh no, nothing of the sort. No, this was a totally unrelated mate, but this guy can still drink me under the table, and I haven't learned my lesson, man. I should have stopped after 2 rounds, but 2 became 3, became 4, became shots. I can't do that shit anymore.
No, dude, you're getting up there, man. You're almost up to my levels of age. But that brings me on to a topic I really, really want to talk to you about, because do you have to partition your friendship groups in terms of like conversations that you talk about? Like, do you have friends that literally do not know what G.I. Joe is?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you say things, so I have lots of friends that don't know what G.I. Joe is, and then when they say, oh, I see on Instagram sometimes, what's this G.I. Joe podcast? What is that? And it's no. I don't even know where do you even start?
Sadly, those are the kind of mates that I see less of as a result. It's like, I just want to talk to people about my nerdy pursuits. Thank goodness for the internet, is all I'm saying. Like, it's connected us all with people who get it, who've got it as bad as we've got it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like right.
You fine folk out there in Listenerland.
Listenerland? Yeah, you could argue without the Intertron, maybe some of these IPs would have died, without being able to form that community. And, like, I don't know if that would exist without the internet.
Fortunately, G.I. Joe is still a going concern in terms of toy properties, the occasional film and animated series, comic book. But yeah, things like, I think something like Tron, which, you mentioned it, wouldn't exist if the interwebs hadn't kept it alive.
Just quickly on G.I. Joe being a going concern, will you be someone that will play this AAA game that's in development? Will you buy the system that it's out on? Will you see it as something that you have to play because you are a fan and it's like a AAA game, first of its kind?
It'll run on my current hardware. I don't want to buy a console.
So what's your current hardware?
I have a gaming laptop. I have Steam.
Oh.
Hopefully. But Ben, we're jumping ahead of ourselves, man. A AAA G.I. Joe game, they've been talking about it. There have been articles written on it, but has there been anything tangible?
Yeah.
Have you seen any gameplay?
Well,
I think we've seen some art from the game.
We know it's Snake Eyes.
Yes.
And we know that it is not... I don't think it's gun-centric. I think it is more hand-to-hand with some shoot-'em-up vibes. I don't know if that's going to be a PC game, my man. Or certainly not for the first year.
All right. Well, I don't know enough about gaming releases, but
I think that for you is going to have to be a must-play, just simply for... You know what these modern games are like? They're not really video games. They're just sort of stories that you just get to the next cutscenes. But it's weird. I'm not really excited about playing it. I'm more excited about the storyline and the narrative and when it takes place. Is it in its own canon? continuity. I just want Cobra Island, dude.
And Snake Eyes will offer you the most sort of combat options, I'm sure.
Well, all of the options, really. Hand-to-hand, shooting.
The joy with G.I. Joe is in the sandbox.
Yeah.
It's picking up whichever toy happens to strike your fancy. Assembling your team out of, the odds and bods, or like the OG 13s, whatever your bent is in G.I. Joe, because everyone's got a different one.
Yes.
I guess Snake Eyes, sadly, is just the most bankable, like, dumb corporate decision makers, default.
I actually think it's their only choice, S-Jubs. I don't think there is another option for a AAA G.I. Joe game. I think you need his name slapped on it. Anyway, I am quite intrigued. I'm going to do some Googling and see what I can dig up, and maybe I'll have more info next episode. But this ain't a video game podcast. It
could be.
It could be. It's a comic show, and this has been sent to me by Tom Donaldson, Springsteen 83, I think.
Confirmed.
Yeah, because I've been buying a lot of books recently, and I needed some help. I needed some help. Oh, look, see, okay, look at this.
That's a perfect little window.
It's the man in question. I'll give you more. Hang on, that doesn't make any sense. No, it does make sense. Here we go. Wow, what have we got here? A 90s book. It's issue 119, and it dropped October the 15th, 1991. Why are there two Snake Eyes on this cover?
You got a pristine book, my man.
S-Jubs has it in hand. It's waterlogged. It's warped. And he has a barcode battler, so now I'm upset and I feel like I've been one-upped by a man in Cape Town.
I bought this myself with my pocket money at the Corner Cafe in the year, I'm going to say 1993. So, yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, got a price sticker. Look at that. R2.50.
R2.50. That's a lovely thing that you're holding there. You have a memory of actually purchasing it. It's got your favorite film on the back.
Hook,
I tell you what, those are a lot of spine ticks. My goodness, sir.
What? Spine ticks?
Why did you go so hard on the spine?
Dude, I read this through childhood.
Yeah, but it makes me feel like it's been
on car trips.
Yeah. Spine ticks happen from when it's
anyone else who wants to read this book. It's been everywhere.
It's upright, but there's not enough. There's nothing to support it. So, you get a tick. You get a tick. Yeah, it's just such a turquoise cover. It's just the blue cover in my eyes. But look, we can't talk about this book.
Hot pink Snake Eyes corner box.
Check out what I'm about to hold up.
What are you about to hold up?
Step into this.
Ooh, Lego.
This is mid-build. I bought this on the weekend. £140. It's the deluxe Lego DeLorean, so it's not scaled properly for the figures. Look at them, they're like little babies. So they're meant to basically stand on the outside and just look nice by it. Look at the detail though. Dude, there's plutonium case in here. There's a hoverboard. Look at that. Oh, it's been so fun. The fun in Lego now for me is the building and just popping a movie on and just tinkering and just building. So the cool thing is, I've got 3 options to build. You get to bag 11 and then they make you do a choice. What film do you want to build? Well, that's
2.
obvious. That's obvious. You build 2 because you want Mr. Fusion. You want the
The flying
flip,
conversion.
the flying conversion. Look at this though. There's a little button at the back, and you do get the flux capacitor, and the time circuits light up. It's a thing of beauty. Anyway,
was that a Christmas purchase that you're only getting around to now, or did you buy?
No, I bought it on the weekend. I also bought Soundwave Lego. I just dropped some cash because I've been doing these Whatnot shows. By the way, so many Chasing Joe fans popping in to say hello. Yeah, Come on. It's unreal. Yeah, I had a little splurge. I just it was a real moment. Everything I wanted was on the top shelf. And I had to get a lady with ladders, and she wheeled them in. And I was like, oh, this is exciting. This is like Toys R Us. Reskinned to Smiths. Ugh. Look, that wasn't the only thing I bought. I did make a promise to our listenership. I said I would pull the trigger on something in my watch list. It's not a vehicle. It is a fig. It's a fig I've wanted for a while. I'm going to do a reveal. Should we do boots first, and then you can guess?
Okay.
I'll do boots. There's the boots.
Oh.
Do you need more?
No. Oh, 9. I've seen the color.
Yeah.
Above the shin guards. It's Zartan Ninja Force. Whoa.
Look at that. Punk. I think this is such a fun variation on the... Wait, what's the torso twist? Is that it? That is it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a sort of a bashing action. Sort of.
It's amazing, though.
It's similar to Masters of the Universe, I think.
Yeah, but you can... I'm surprised that it lets you go 360. So you can actually... No, but you can... God, it's a very quick action. But at least we still get, normal hips.
Yes.
Which is cool. I just like the idea of Zartan choosing his new look and just feeling like he wants to, have fun with colour. After sort of year... And I think the best feature is this lovely high collar. Would you agree? Like, from the back... That is a cool look, with the mohawk and that high collar. I feel like he could walk into a biker bar, and even though he's in acid green pants, I still feel like he'd be taken very seriously. I don't think he looks like a joke. What do you think?
There are continuities that hold Zartan to be a particularly tall guy. So yeah, he'd be imposing in any clothing, just to sort of man mountain. I don't know if that's how I would play Zartan, but certainly like this Zartan appeals to the people who really enjoyed Cold Slither from the original show, thinking of Zartan as a punk rocker, and leader of the Dreadnoks. My appreciation of Zartan was completely separate to that. So it's hard for me to harmonize this look with like how I play Zartan.
He's got a nice wrist guard here, though, with an exposed elbow bit. There are some nice details. The chain around there. Also, just the head sculpt.
That didn't have any soft goods. Like
the head sculpt.
The hairpiece is kind of all he's got going for him. Like other Ninja Force figures all had sashes and hair plugs.
That mohawk looks better like this, dude. That's not going to look right if it's soft goods, though.
Sure.
It's going to just be... by this time, it would just be a flopping mess. So, obviously, this was a loose figure. £3.
Lovely.
What am I missing?
Okay. He came with weapons tree weapons, so they're easily replaced with more appropriate colored weapons. But among them, you would find Storm Shadow version 2's bow, which marks the first time Zartan ever was packaged with a bow.
Okay.
His classic weapon. And he's got two sort of, they look like butter knives. They're ridiculous, but they do occupy his thigh sheaths.
Okay.
But almost any other kind of knife would look better in there, provided it fits.
Yeah, I see. I see. Yeah, those weaponry, would you have to twist them off, to take them off of their...
Well, so the really OCD kids would have a pair of nippers.
Yeah, because otherwise you're going to get I don't know, it's not going to look right. But unfortunately, from a mint on card perspective, I hate those ones. There's just too much junk in the blister pack, I think.
Funny, because the idea behind it was to make it look like a more value add. It's like, wow, look at all this stuff you're getting, and it's still attached. Like it's I don't know. It was a Ninja Turtles fad, I think.
I think so too.
Their weapons on the sprue, but with Turtles, they made the sprue look like it was actually a weapons rack from the dojo. Like it had wood grain, whereas the GI Joe was just a standard, tube of plastic.
Yeah, I do enjoy a weapons rack. Interesting.
I do have an unsnipped Turtles accessory tree, and that's a nice little dio piece. I mean, it's a bit war breaky with all the additional bits of plastic connecting all the weapons, but yeah, it stands on its own, and it's nice enough.
I have to say, when a GI Joe fig arrives in the post, it's not from my childhood, but there was a buzz. There was a dopamine hit. There was a little rush. There was a kind of ooh, I could definitely do this again.
Well, I'm at a point where my collection is as complete as I ever wanted to be, but I crave that hit, man. So any opportunity to find something to fill a niche or an army builder or whatever, I'm an easy sell. I don't need anything anymore. I just need that hit. It's kind of sad. Consumerism for consumerism's sake.
So am I led to believe that when they're designing these figs and they're in the factory, the whole bottom of this fig is green, hence why when you get paint flicks, you get that green on the boot. Kind of almost looks like he's got heels. But that is just, someone has played there. I like a played with figure. I don't necessarily love pristine. A little bit of a story there, a little bit of history.
Well, paint scuff on the sort of the edges of a boot, they have to be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the figure's never been stood up in anything harder than a carpet. Come on, you play with it in sand, the paint's going to chip. You play with it in rocks, the paint's going to chip. Yeah, man, these figures have been played with. Amen.
Yeah. I just wish there was a Ready Player One style where I could just, I don't know, point my phone at it and just get all of the ownership, the stats, when he was bought, what life has this guy had, and now he finds himself in my collection. Love it. Anyway, we've got a comic to talk about.
Yes.
The cover. I think if you were seeing this that month when it was released, you would be highly intrigued that there are two Snake Eyes on this cover. I think that would
even get a text box that calls it out in case you weren't aware of this being Snake Eyes. It's Snake Eyes versus Snake Eyes. It is using his version 4, so maybe it's not as familiar to comic book readers at this point.
I just don't think you're going to go straight to, that must be a robot. I think you're thinking is this someone else from his past, or what is going on? Someone in disguise. High intrigue from this cover, just from a sort of a narrative point of view. And version 4 never looked better there. It looks fantastic. Although I do associate my version 4 with a little bit more gun woo as opposed to ninja woo. Do you know what I mean? He feels more commando based. I think that's his webbing, isn't it, that makes me think that.
The webbing that makes him commando based, but his footwear definitely makes him look ninja based.
That's true.
He's ninja. Coming off the back of version 3, which had combat boots. This guy's got what is it? Sort of calf wrappings and ninja slippers, basically.
Well, he is a good balance. He's a good balance between both. You can never ever just play with Snake Eyes as a straight out ninja. He's very good with weapons and grenades and other things as well, He's not... Whereas Storm Shadow's... he's a bit more pure, and he's not really into weapons. Whereas
it
Snake
set up the
Eyes,
precedent. This issue, he calls it out.
Yeah.
Storm Shadow is like he sort of is reluctant to pick up Snake Eyes' Uzi, but they're depicting it on the cover, and so it's worth talking about now. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Storm Shadow, does not like firearms. He's got that kind of superhero quality, I guess. Like firearms are not the way. The firearms are too easy. It's for the criminal. It's for the bad guy.
That was totally mirrored in my play. I don't think there is I don't have any memory of ever making Storm Shadow have a gun or put a gun in those hands. It would just feel so wrong. Snake Eyes, he would grab anything, grab guns off of dead bodies. Yeah. Anyway,
what is nice though is that Storm Shadow has weapons expertise, but has set down like firearms. I mean, he was a combat soldier in Vietnam. He had an M16 with the rest of the guys.
That's it. Yeah.
No doubt knows a variety of different firearms, but does not use them. It's a very positive choice, active choice.
Yeah. The more I think about that version of Storm Shadow, version 3, is it?
Yes, Ninja Force.
Yeah. Ninja Force. The more it does feel very, very ceremonial to me. Like
the gold.
Not necessarily like combat based. I have to say it is massively growing on me. The figure is growing on me. And when I was younger, I didn't have any time for this guy, but I really love the visual of it. Just those gold pops.
No issue, in my opinion, is selling these toys as hard as issue 119. Like this was such an important like issue for me growing up, because I coveted these figures from the moment I had this book in hand to the moment I had the toys in hand. And yes, there was a bit of a break. Like I got that Storm Shadow in, I'm going to say July of 93. And then Snake Eyes only in December of 93. So I was waiting for these guys, man. I needed to have them.
By his sigh there, is that a flashbang or smoke? What is that?
I'm going to say smoke, the sort of cylindrical grenade.
Yeah, interesting though, because it comes from the same world as a gun or a weapon, so it's kind of a military thing, isn't it? It's interesting that he's fine to use deception and smoke.
Like smoke bombs and subterfuge are the ninja's way.
Exactly, but I would more expect it to be in like a potion or something, not like this actual,
Well, he's a modern ninja. He's got like fragmentation grenades.
That's what. I've just spotted those.
He's got throwing stars and frags. Like this guy,
make them gold.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to just
take on the mod cons.
We're already starting to talk about the book, but I am just going to race through the pop culture soup very quickly. McDonald's, a Big Mac cost you $1.85. A cheeseburger was 79 cents, and a medium fries were 99 cents. You could eat like a king for under $1 in 1991. Movies, it was still the summer hits. They were still at number one. It was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Remember going to see that with my mum, my brother. Big family vibe. And remember loving it. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I could not see it at the cinema. It was a 15. But luckily, it came out onto VHS so fast. Like back in the day, it used to be like 6 months, but it was only like a couple of months. Music.
Money to be made. And what was the cost of a VHS cassette back then? It was
$9.99.
Of Batman 89.
Yeah, I think VHS would have been. Prices don't make any sense. It felt like a VHS was 10 quid or 12 quid. Kind of like what DVD is now. But anyway, music. Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams, which is the song from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and still has the record for most consecutive weeks at number one. 16 weeks that thing was being played in the UK for. Comics, Uncanny X-Men, issue 283. I brought this one up because I'm tempted to dip into 90s X-Men. when I look at these covers, the 90s-ness of them, the characters, the cartoon, I feel like I should read a 90s run of X-Men. I haven't done that. I was reading some of the issues in real time back in the day, but I was kind of an X-Factor, X-Force kid. I was kind of being contrarian against the
Jim
main...
Lee for Rob Liefeld. Yikes.
Yeah, wow!
How would you do that?
I don't know. I think I was hanging out with Chief too much, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to read these other cool ones.
Yeah, these guys are mutants with guns.
Yeah, strong guy. Yeah.
Domino.
Look,
evil.
Toys, big in the playground. I want to know if they made it to Cape Town. Pogs. Pogs, for a couple of months, were the social currency of Cranbourne Middle School. Pog 1 was like... You couldn't even talk about Pog 1. It was so rare. But I still actually don't know how it worked. You get one big, massive, like metal one, and then you chuck it down and they flip, and then, I don't know, someone takes a pile, you take another pile. Did Pogs hit you?
Well, what really hit us was the derivatives of Pogs.
Which
They were called Slammers. And they were hugely marketed in the Rugby World Cup in 1995.
Okay, they sound like Pogs.
Stations.
Are you sure they're not Pogs?
No, they were rugby players from the lineup of the 95 World Cup, the first World Cup that South Africa was allowed to participate in.
They didn't do other IPs?
They did, but this was the one that made the big waves because it was universal. It was a game. It was highly collectible. It appealed to the sort of the sweeping sense of sportsmanship the country experienced at the time. We won that World Cup, by the way. I just have to enter that onto record. And you got to. Anyways, the game, if you were wondering, Ben, you keep them face down, you stack them up, right?
Yes.
And you take the plastic one.
Yeah, and in the rugby one, what would that have been?
That would have been the team badge.
Team badge. Lovely.
Samoa, New Zealand, the Wallabies, Springboks. And so that was a hard plastic glossy one, and you would slam that down on the top of the pile.
Yeah.
And whichever one's flipped over face up, you would claim.
Oh!
You'd work your way down the stack.
That's so good.
Dude, it was brutal.
Okay, so
you had the technique down. Like you could either whack it sort of flat, or you could whack it like, on the edge, like a coin, to try and.
I would only ever think to do the edge. Yeah, personally,
well, that was the technique that worked because there were tears on the playground as people lost their entire collections to people who really had kind of figured out the system.
Yeah, Pogs and Tazos. I mean, they were big. They didn't make it out of 1991, but they were a playground craze. And I wonder if something like that can, you come up with an idea, you launch it, it's big for 4 months. Does that secure you lifetime wealth, or do you come out in debt? Like, it's mad to think how boom and bust some of these crazes can be. And they just disappear off the face of the planet when the next thing comes into the playground.
On to the next
there
one.
You go.
I mean, like Little Shop. How many supermarkets has that idea kind of flowed through globally?
Yeah.
And it's kind of catches on. It trickles through the world.
Mini brands.
Brands, actually.
That's that. Now we're on to this beautiful book. And S-Jubs, why don't you tell me who wrote this sucker?
This is one of those delightful instances where we have, which essentially is a guest writer.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, if Larry was Mr. Number 1 on GI Joe comic books, Mr. Number 2 is definitely Herb Trimpe.
Oh, yeah.
They worked together at the outset of the run. Herb was the man who did all the pencils, pretty much all the pencils for Special Missions. He also authored 1, maybe 2. Issue 4, Operation Wingfield, is a Herb Trimpe plot and art.
Which we've done,
that Larry
I think.
Just did the script over. And so he's back. He's back with the pencil sticks. He's back with the ink sticks. He's even back with the color sticks. And this is his storyline. So it's
his
Herb
book.
Trimpe joint.
Well, look, Double Trouble. opening page. It's at night, so you know I'm on board. You just know that I'm invested. And Herb, on this one, you can depict nighttime many different ways, but he's gone for that purple, heavy hue to depict night. And boy, do I love it. And I absolutely adore the opening 4-5 pages of this book. I think it would almost make the perfect film introduction to Cobra Commander because of the violence, the way he just murks that guy for the missing crate. But I realize I may be getting ahead of myself. Would you like to attempt to do a little synopsis?
Damn it, Ben. I thought I was going to weasel my way out of it.
Weasel?
Well, we do open with Cobra Island and a very displeased Cobra Commander because a amphibious transport plane, which was supposed to deliver some crates, is missing one crate. So he sends the crew back to get that crate the very next night, but after offing the loadmaster for his inexcusable mistake. Yeah, man. This is a very ruthless Cobra Commander. This is a throwback to like the first 10 issues of GI Joe, which is Herb's stomping ground as a storyteller, where Cobra Commander is this Bond villain. You make a mistake in his presence and you are summarily executed.
Dude, can we just talk about the sword as well?
Another throwback to early Cobra Commander.
I just think that touch makes him a toy villain. It's just perfect. It's like the perfect tweak. Just giving him that sword and what a sword represents. It's freaking perfect. He should always have it. Mm-hmm. Like visually, yeah, that's the villain.
Elevates him.
It just
anyway,
does.
Let me wrap this summary
Wrap it up.
Turns out Cobra has developed a thing called Echo robots. On the back of their BATS program, they've created robots so sophisticated, you are almost looking at the real thing. They're copies of humans, copies of the United States president, copies of GI Joe members and other high-ranking military. Even we see Eddie Murphy at one point. I'm like, what? Okay, they're going to go for entertainers as well. Cobra basically want to replace key people with these robots and take over that way. GI Joe stops their plan, however, by inserting their three most sneaky, most proficient team members, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow, into the Cobra consulate where all these robots are being stored before they're being sent out on their nefarious missions. They use the most ridiculous means. They set a homing device inside the robotics lab and then send a smart bomb cruise missile helicopter combo.
The rotors, the scale of that thing.
Plenty of like hijinks ensue, though. We have lots of replacements and red herrings and hoodwinks, and someone masquerading as a robot, masquerading as a human to fool Cobra Commander. But Joe's win the day. The robotics lab is destroyed, as is the storage facility on an island off the coast of Brazil, and we never hear of this kind of plot point again. Look, if I have one criticism at this outset, is like this technology breaks the GI Joe universe.
Yeah.
If you were to take this out of like comic book toy, like for kids mentality, like this is like an episode of the cartoon.
Yes, it is. Maybe that's why I loved it so much. I think you nailed it with. This is forget those Joe films they made. This is how the GI Joe film pre-credits sequence should start. Cobra Island docks. Maybe some chatter on a tannoy. There's people moving. There's Cobra activity. You've got like searchlights, and then you get this incredible plane fly by with the Fly-By Night Airways. And then my eyes are so bad. We splash for cash. Just their dialogue. We're light. No, we're late. And we ain't. I can't read. It's too far away. I'm gonna actually have to go to my thing.
We're late,
and we ain't gonna be happy. Cobra Commander is never happy. Like radio garble.
Man, like they've got a spotlight on Cobra Commander, which serves no other purpose than to, for the reader, highlight that he's actually personally going to receive these guys.
Yeah.
He's pointing his finger at the plane. It's very menacing for someone
Yes.
illustrated so small. We can totally tell it's Cobra Commander, even from what little detail is there. But this is such a diva move, if you think about it. Like someone is shining a spotlight on him, like a
Yeah.
follow spot. Like Cobra Commander needs to be
Or he's
like
probably requested that so he can see as well. Like,
no, but then the
he's like,
spotlight should be pointing on the plane.
yeah,
You get what
possibly.
I'm saying? Like
Yes.
it serves no purpose other than to just really punch out Cobra Commander.
It's a
Like if
very
Joe
Metal
was
Gear
waiting off the
Solid.
coast with a sniper rifle, they'd be like, "Oh, this is too easy." They've just put the commander under a spotlight.
I mean, I can literally see the credits appearing on the screen with these shots as they go through, and I just think,
nice.
yeah, you cue James Bond's song after he shoots his gun. It's a fantastic few opening pages, and all the Joe stuff is great too.
Severity of the situation as they
Yeah.
learn as Cobras. I mean, it had to be the one crate that they leave behind had to be like George Bush Sr. Who went to the most recognizable face on the planet at that point, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Have you got anything to say about Windmill? Windmill to Hawk. I think I've got him. He's letting down and heading straight for you.
The plan is to put a tracking device in the crate, seal it back up, and let Cobra take it back to wherever it's going. Windmill in the Skystorm X-Wing chopper in full stealth mode is tasked with tracking that plane back to Cobra Island.
So you don't get rotor noise from that thing.
Actually, no, this is not going to Cobra Island. This is supposed to be going to the Brazilian storage facility.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Amazing range, may I just say. Like every time I read a Joe book, something new stands out to me. Unfortunately, I can't disengage my adult brain in thinking like amazing range for a helicopter to keep tabs on a long range transport plane, which is flying all the way off the coast, like from the United States to Brazil.
That's a long haul. That's a
It's
couple
massive.
of meals.
I
fair
hope
few
the
meals.
mid-air refueling plane was also stealth.
He's so chuffed with his stealth capabilities. That's a Roger, General. I'm in full stealth mode. I could fly right up the wazoo, and he wouldn't even know I was there. I mean, you wouldn't want to get
Don't do
too
that.
close visually. I mean, bright yellow. But,
What, the
yeah.
plane? No, the Skystorm is not bright yellow. That is the sort of afterglow. from the
Oh,
ground light.
amazing. Oh, that's so cool.
Skystorm. Allow me, sir.
Oh,
I can
dope.
bring it in right now.
Oh, it looks... I tell you what, man. Yeah, that looks stealthy with that radar thing above. Yeah, that does look like cutting edge tech, actually. Like good angular
Chopper.
features. When you think of stealth, you do think of those kind of hard angles. Like, yeah.
A stealth chopper would have like a rotor hub that is quite sloped.
Yeah, I just don't know mechanically how you're going
which
to
is
get
what this
those
is trying to
rotors.
achieve, but it's unfortunately got a gimmick. There's a gimmick that's kind of interrupting the aesthetics of this plane, and I'd rather have lost the gimmick. The gimmick is this plunger actually causes the blades
Yeah,
to
so you
sort of
pump
slide
it.
in and out. No, you slide it down, and the blades sort of suck in. And you
Okay.
pull it up, and the blades extend. It doesn't work so well, and even though this is flexible plastic, like 40 years of plunging it up and down, it basically puts it into like a 90-degree bend.
Right.
They've all snapped.
Okay.
But I love this helicopter,
It's cool. You
and I
don't
might
get
be
much
in
spin
a
on
very
it.
small minority. No, it doesn't stand away from the fuselage enough to get too much of a good spin. That's
I tell you what, it's got a beautiful, like long GI Joe decal on it. Like the really long. It's cool.
Yeah. And where the American release would have sort of a stars and bars in the front and a United States This is the Action Force release, so it has just the tricolor and the slanted star, the italicized star.
Yeah.
But
has he got any?
I got this for a song, mint in box,
Ooh.
in the sort of the mid 2000s at a beachside flea market. Wow. I could not part with, I think it was a whole 50 Rand. I could not part with the money fast enough. I mean, unironic. They weren't selling it as like a boxed vintage item. This is just dead stock that someone acquired back in the day, and it's been kicking around in their storeroom for however long.
It's quite visually striking from the rear, isn't it? It's got a nice silhouette to it. It screams tech. And
well, the idea is that it takes off like a helicopter. Then at some point, the rotor hub stops and it becomes just a wing surface, and you kick in this jet engine.
Yeah, because there's no way you could go stealth with rotors. The sound signature would be horrendous.
Well, I mean, the tech is classified, so I couldn't really tell you. I'd have to kill you. But I believe there are stealth helicopters out there. They exist.
Okay, fine.
It's a thing.
Well, look,
that's how they got Osama, I think.
I tell you what, though, there's a couple of on the first page, the ad is Mega Drive was huge back then. Look at that. Sega Genesis in the States. Terrible name. Mega Drive is so much cooler. But that's a very cool ad for a video game.
Choose from a smashing assortments of socks and belts. Haha. Funny play on words. I mean, this was hugely inspirational to me because my friend had Bare Knuckle. He had Streets of Rage, the first one. And so we were like, okay, let's see if we can do all of these moves.
Yeah, but I don't like it because they're doing it against their friends.
No, well, yes, that, but also like the co-op moves. Like
I love the co-op ones. The spin,
Axel, and he kind of, leaps.
Yeah. It's great.
So
but
good.
Back to the book. How do we know that this isn't Larry? Well, we know from this page of bubbles. There's Herb just writing a goddamn novel. But what I do love about this, it goes into that really cool, is it like a heist film trope where kind of Ocean's 11, where I quite enjoy it, where you're in the briefing room, you're explaining the plan, and then you cut to the plan being executed.
With
and sometimes
voiceover on top.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know if it's actually happening because sometimes they're like, oh no, scrap that, we'll do it like this, and it will cut back and start again. But I like how for the initial infiltration scenes we are getting the plan from the briefing room.
Voiceover.
Yeah, I think that's it's a cool trope. And also I did get video game Desert Strike vibes from this briefing. I do love a good briefing, and just how it cuts to tonight, and you just see them fast roping down from the tomahawk.
This became the template for all briefings I ever gave in my play. Because I would always end with, any questions? And I'd have the guys say, when? And I'd say, tonight.
Yes.
Whoa, drop what you're doing, guys. There's no time to prep this thing. That's why we called in you three, because you're the best at improvising. Like, you don't need a plan. You just need to go and sneak in and do it.
Yeah.
Now, something else that struck me on this read, is Trimpy aware that Storm Shadow is Asian or of Asian descent?
Oh,
because he's not only drawn a very Caucasian face, and certainly we got a lot of push-ins on the eyes, and that's a white man's eyes. We do also see his hair, which is kind of wavy, but because Herb has colored this book as well, the fact that he's given Tommy brown hair is very strange to me now. I'm like, did Herb think he was a white guy?
He hasn't. He doesn't. Do you think he looks totally Caucasian there?
Well, this is open to artistic interpretation, but you can't look past the fact that the choice of hair color, I mean, it's
Can I just go on record as well and saying that I don't really like Snake Eyes' look, like his decloaked look. He's just way too good looking, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I feel like his look betrays his character. He looks like a freaking jock.
Yeah.
To me, he looks like he's gonna say some stuff. He looks, I don't know, Scott Summersy, Boy Scout. I don't know. I just not really interested in seeing him.
We get more unmasked stuff at the very end. Yeah, everyone loses their masks toward the end. But once again, Storm Shadow, brown hair.
Very much, yeah, looking like a white dude there. Fantastic Scarlet, though. I mean, pure comic book there. Absolutely brilliant. And he does this in quite a few panels where, you know, she almost looks cut out and stuck on. She's got a white, what's the word? Like, thick lines.
Yeah, she's kind
extruded,
jumping out at you, really to grab the attention, maybe create a bit of false three-dimensionality.
He does it on quite a few panels, almost like this sort of cut and paste style. I think it actually works quite well. Yes, but anyway, back to I
want to make a but. Sorry, you go ahead, buddy.
Well, no, I was just going to say, calling out the text, the bubbles. I do think that lets you know that this is not Larry. Just even visually seeing that many bubbles in a Joe book is quite jarring. Do you get that?
I don't know, man. Larry's famously verbose when he doesn't need to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Look,
Fairs.
I'll tell you what, this is absolutely in the same mold as the special missions.
Very much so.
Really, really dense on the read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has to set up its own world and resolve it within one issue. And yeah, a lot of the heavy lifting is done with text.
I do feel like it has special missions always goes big on atmosphere, and there is a lot of atmosphere in this issue. Just even simple panels like cutting back to the flag, and it's raining. It's a very stormy ocean. There's there's multiple things happening at different times. I don't know. There's something about seeing that goddamn aircraft carrier in that ocean. It just, it's dripping in atmosphere.
And an intimate issue all in one. Because
you get the scale.
Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Scarlet. They face down the big snake himself, who then, true to form, escapes. But then in the background, you've got, a stealth fighter being launched by the flag. A Cobra sub, which is surveilling everything. Did you notice the periscope?
Oh my god, I didn't notice that.
Yep.
Very good.
Cobra has a sub watching the flag. I mean, that's very dangerous. That sub could just sink the USS Flag then and there. I'd be done with it. I do think we were robbed of a Cobra sub. I think that could have been joyous. I don't think the Joes need one, having the flag, but I feel like a Cobra sub toy, a big sub would have been amazing. Get that in the Joe
bath.
does have a sub in this very issue as well. The stealth fighter gets intercepted and destroyed, but that was actually just a ruse. They'd gotten a sub close enough to this CTS-4 storage facility, and it fires a missile, cruise missile.
Always war is bad, but always a striking visual to see a sub launch a vertical air-based missile as it breaches the ocean. Quite something. I mean, unbelievable tech. It's just insane.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be able to do that. Like, this is an aerial delivered piece of ordnance. How is it shooting up through water? But
when you see it visually happen, it almost kind of leaps out, pauses, and then thrusts up. Yeah, crazy. I tell you now, you've given one thing that you don't like about this issue. There is something that just begins to I think it outstays its welcome by a couple of pages, and that is Storm Shadow's running commentary of essentially the entire Snake Eyes versus Snake Eyes fight.
Right.
It just grates on me a little bit how much he is talking out loud. Yeah, only slightly. Obviously, I get why you have it initially, but it just goes on and on and on, and yeah, it's a little bit annoying because again, I've always struggled with how I read Storm Shadow on the page from how I played with him. He is actually very vocal in the comic. He's a chatty guy in the comics.
Yeah.
He's always talking, and I feel like the way I would play him was like this regal ninja that doesn't talk much, and if he is going to talk, it's deadly serious and to the point. Whereas
alas, he has to do the heavy lifting for him, and
he does.
Snake Eyes.
Yeah, he does.
All of the kind of the esoteric martial artist mumbo jumbo. He's got to banter with himself, basically.
Should we talk about this fight scene and what's happening here? Because at this time, this for me is one of the biggest single-player video game tropes. And I always used to find it amazing in video games. Two that spring to mind is Easewat, Sonic, Revenge of Shinobi, where you fought all these end of level bosses, and then as you get towards the end, not normally the final boss, but maybe one before, you play yourself, and they are difficult. They have the same moves as you, and this just feels like straight out of a video game. Snake Eyes versus Snake Eyes, and the confusion for the third parties in the room that causes is interesting. How do you feel about Snake Eyes versus Robot, end of video game boss?
Hugely inspirational. Like, this was fuel for my play.
Yeah.
I wanted to do nothing but ninja stuff
Yeah.
at this point in my joke collecting. Like, yeah, everyone else was just cannon fodder or katana fodder, to be more accurate. Like, the ninjas were my front and center main protagonists.
Yes.
Everyone else was just, background at this point. I don't know if I ever longed to have two Snake Eyeses, though.
He's too unique, I know what you mean.
It just seemed wasteful. I didn't need to recreate this story panel for panel, but certainly the idea of fighting like robot copies of Joe's, very interesting. A great way of having action figures clash that you otherwise wouldn't ever have, as opponents. Like Snake Eyes has to fight a robot Duke. Oh man,
it does have that end of level boss feel to it. It's kind of like, what could be more deadlier than fighting yourself? And we take it that this robot knows all of his moves, can predict his fight style, his patterns.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, in the cold light of day, if you'd be cynical about it, it really does break GI Joe to have robots this good. I mean, the bats were always marred by various issues, and that kind of brought them
Hawk
down.
mentions that. He
Yeah,
does
but
say
these
this
are-
is a hell of a leap. Like, there's no in between here. Wow. I
Even down to,
personally
knowing
love
a
that.
martial arts fighting style, being able to recreate the moves so perfectly so as to fool someone like Storm Shadow, who should know his brother's style inside and out.
Yeah, there's something lost on me when you make, robots in the 80s and 90s were fun because of their shankiness and kind of, they were obviously robots. How the bats moved in the Sumbo cartoon, they're not fluid kind of organic human motions. They are still
Clunky.
robotic and clunky. I mean, as soon as you just have something like that on that panel, I think you lose the fun that it's a robot.
But in order to do these kind of hijinks where you're substituting the real for the fake, it has to be a perfect copy. Hence,
It does, but I think they've missed a beat by not having that moment in the fight where, you do some crucial damage and you get that visual of, oh my God, endoskeleton, or he's got something else where I want the visual of it being a robot.
Well, then this concept is ripe for revisiting.
Yeah.
And yet, like in current Joe books, maybe we are a little bit sick of having robots.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the modern book, but it is a bit of a blight that we are.
I wouldn't mind if you did, actually. Could you just very, very quickly... Because I don't read it anymore. What's going on? Is there anything interesting happening?
I'm not up to date, but
okay.
Something that is often bemoaned, and I certainly fall into that camp, is there's a third faction, a highly sophisticated AI that is creating bipedal robots that can pass for human. They're called Revenge Technologies, and I'm gonna say changed the playing field, but not really. I don't know. The status quo keeps going round and round.
Okay.
But they keep coming up with the next big bad, like revenge units to end all units kind of robots.
Sounds like they're still treading water. Just quickly, what about Skybound?
Oh, that is. Oh, okay. Skybound has wrapped up, I think, their Dreadnought War.
Okay.
Where Cobra Commander has to team up with the Joes to put down a sort of Dreadnought insurrection.
Okay.
I haven't read that either. Oh dear, Ben.
Oh, don't worry. You don't need to, because we're doing issue 119. Just stick to the waters you know. So, okay, we discussed the battle. Do you want to talk about how Snake Eyes finally dispatches his doppelganger? Sorry, Snake Eyes doesn't dispatch him. It's Storm Shadow that has to make that interesting decision with the Uzi.
So this also defies belief. He pulls the Uzi on Scarlet, knowing that only the real Snake Eyes would show enough concern to wrestle the gun out of his hand. Like, that's a hell of a gamble.
Yeah, but I think that's some deep, proper Storm Shadow there coming through, and I like that.
Oof.
I think it's, that is real. But he doesn't really have much of a choice. God, that's a good shot.
Believed in Snake Eyes' heart of hearts, did he really think that Storm Shadow would be able to go through with this?
No, but also I think really you should only have one of them looking round there, because I just feel like the robot would still be engaged in the fight. And that should be how you tell the difference.
Here's the fun thing, and this is something that I've always hung on as a child and right through to adulthood. When both Snake Eyes turn their heads to see what Storm Shadow is proposing to do, the copy is looking slightly off. The real Snake Eyes is looking at the gun. He's fixated on the piece. The fake Snake Eyes, I don't know if it maybe was a glitch in the programming. Maybe he overcompensated his neck servos or something because of some battle damage. But he is looking a little bit off center, not at the gun. And it turns out that is the one. If the next panel reads the way I think it does, that is the one who remains behind while the real Snake Eyes leaps forward and wrestles Storm Shadow.
There's quite a lot of murdering in this book, and there's almost some blood splatter drawn, but I don't know. There's a bit where Storm Shadow chops down a couple of blue shirts, and we're almost getting blood.
Or could it be lubricant? Could it be oil?
Oh, of course, because they're robots too.
Everyone.
That's why they've done it.
Yep. It seems like Trimpy has kind of reset the world. Everyone in the Cobra Concert building is a synthetic, is an echo robot.
Yeah, that's why he's drawn that. That's oil. Of course it is.
So you say there's some murders in this book. Well, the heroes get to hold their heads high because it seems like everything that has been destroyed is just a copy, is an echo robot.
Shall we talk about
a very expensive issue for Cobra?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because each one of those units is going to have a high price tag with that kind of tech being rolled out, you know?
Breaks the world, baby, but
They're
here
probably
for
like
it. I love this
500k a piece. Would you like to talk about Wild Bill in this issue and his kind of little mission that he has to execute with this bizarre cruise missile that's attached to the bottom of the Tomahawk that he is he piloting or is it on remote?
Okay.
He can see.
It's called a smart bomb.
It's making
but it fires
decisions
off like a missile. And then once it penetrates the sort of ducting at the top of the Cobra Consulate, it stops and engages a helicopter blade so that it can basically hover its way down stairwells and find its way down into the basement of the building where this storage facility is.
Yeah, but it has decisions to make.
Now, this is a very fanciful and fun sequence because the ninja guys have to get to the top of the building to be evac'd by Wild Bill while this thing is making its way down to the bottom of the building to blow up the robotics lab. And of course, they come face to face at one point.
I do love that.
Yes.
Because this stuff is not plot driven. This little mini section is just fun. It's just
totally unnecessary. Why couldn't the ninja guys just set explosives on a timer and bust out of there? This missile, I mean, the opportunities for this plan to fail, this thing to just plow into a wall somewhere or not be able to get through a narrow doorway. Like, why would they do this?
It is very strange. Again, feels very video gamey. You sort of piloting this little thing through a building. And the fact that Scarlet pops up on Wild Bill's little visual screen there, it's just fantastic. They just pass it. Yeah.
My, oh my, look what we got here, Hawk. You wouldn't believe what's staring back at me on the monitor. Is it Oprah? Oof. No, but you got the right species and gender.
You should be doing voiceover work there.
Cheers, brother.
I tell you what, when it goes into the actual like factory where they're being made, that's bizarre because you've got all of those arms hanging down and you've got a reject. It sort of makes them far more like sinister and a little bit more like monster-esque as opposed to robots. More cyborgy, really, because there's flesh and things. I mean, look, it's proper Cyberdyne systems, isn't it? It's, you know, it's very Terminator-based, actually.
I mean, is their skin a kind of a rubber? What is it? Will it?
They're a poly-oly alloy.
No, maybe they're growing actual skin cells and grafting them onto these combat chassis. Like, this is Terminator, bro, in 1991.
Yeah, it was Terminator 2. Anyway, so yeah, then we got multiple explosions happening. So they're blowing up that room, but then GI Joe also launched the cruise missile because basically Cobra Commander does that classic thing of don't worry, we're going to be okay. It will be a glorious victory in the end, but no, it is not a glorious victory. And I take it this is the end of that particular robotics program for Cobra Commander.
One and done.
Yeah.
On to the next scheme.
Yeah. And no one really in charge of it. There's no kind of other Cobra character that's, designing these. It's just, we don't know any of that side of it. It's just something that they've been working on. A bizarre little storyline, but I'm here for it, I have to say. And it's surprising that it's an ARAR issue.
Tendency of being tagged as inventory stories or filler. You know, get Herb to author his own work, pencil it, ink it, color it, so Larry can focus on the main line. And yes, it doesn't seem to have any repercussions whatsoever. Yeah. But I would call that a strength.
I was going to say that is not a slight on the issue.
It's a wonderful book to pick up and read.
Yeah, I'd say this is a high grade issue. It's high in quality. It's beautifully drawn. And it's interesting because it is not written by Larry himself, which does make it slightly unique in this run. I mean, how many? You can count on one hand. How many does he not write in the 155? Like 4 or 5 issues? There's a couple towards the end, isn't there? Or 1 or 2? The penultimate issue isn't him.
I'm going to say 155 plus the special missions run, maybe a dozen issues.
What you think? 12? Okay, that's more than I thought.
12.
But
Between 10 or 12, something like that.
Yeah,
maybe 9. I don't know. I'll do the tally one day. No, I won't.
Well, anything in the letters? I did note one from Justin was asking if there could be a female-led all-women special team for GI Joe.
Well, did he get his wish? Did he stick around for... Wait, Ladies' Day would have been predating this issue.
Been and gone.
There's a special missions issue where the girls team up to do some undercover work.
Yeah, anything else stick out to you in the letters?
Gosh, there was a writer from Kiwi, from New Zealand. He wanted to have the Joes do a mission down there. Down under. There's someone who was a tanker. Actually, and this is the Desert Storm era, and he was a tank driver. And he, let's see. I don't really think the Raider could have made it across a tank trap. He's talking about in the sort of Emirates of Benzine, the tank battles, and the sort of dragon teeth tank traps. There's no way the Raider would have made those tracks would have been thrown in the inside and outside with no hope of moving. Now, I'm not trying to be picky. Just as a tanker, it's something I recognize. And also, I like to know where I can get some back issues. So it's amazing, having actual servicemen writing in about realism on GI Joe. It's holding this book up to a very high standard.
Dude, well, can you imagine?
They have the right to do so, because GI Joe will always straddle a line between ultra realism and like treating this stuff with respect and getting into the technical side of things. But it is still also a comic book supporting a toy line for kids.
But you'd have to imagine in the barracks in the first Gulf War, there would have been troops reading an issue of this. There would have been troops that would have had floppies of G.I. Joe. It's so cool. Also, there's quite a few people write in and ask about back issues a lot for G.I. Joe. And I do have memories of going through the long box and there really not being that many. You couldn't go back that many months, is what I'm saying. You could absolutely always get maybe the last 4 or 5 issues. But when did they first release Marvel a trade?
It would have been the mid-2000s.
Yeah, after the fact. Way after the fact. I don't know enough about comics and trade paperbacks of when that really started becoming a thing. I take it maybe it was not a thing in the 90s to collect runs in that way. God, that must have blown the scene wide open. Being able to
I only became aware of the concept of a trade paperback. I mean, at the earliest would be the early 2000s.
Maybe it was so they could sell them in Borders and Waterstone, bookshops traditionally, when they said we're not going to sell comics, but we'll sell collected editions.
Sure, and they started popping up in libraries
everywhere. Yeah,
trade paperback. You can't hire. What do you take out a single comic book? But a trade paperback,
hire, rent.
We'll stock that. I've read a lot of trades just out of the local libraries in Australia.
Yeah, look, dude. When I once a week I take Scout to parkour and I get to walk around a mall for 90 minutes, and I usually go into HMV and they have a colossal collection of trades,
and none of them are bagged. Hey, you can just sit there and thumb through.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, nice. That wouldn't fly here, I don't think. I think people they treat the comic books a little bit too preciously because they're high dollar items, man.
But dude,
someone else.
They don't have that audience in HMV. They don't have people coming in that are like, what, bag up a trade?
Yeah, no, like polybag.
Oh God, no.
Prevent people from like just thumbing through a book that's for sale. Because
No,
condition is always such an issue with you comic people.
Yeah, but not for trade. What, you think condition is a thing for trades? I just feel like people are just like, it's the trade. Who cares?
Wow. Okay, that is something I wasn't aware of.
And trades famously, once you've bought a trade, especially of something new, I mean, they're on like Vinted for like £3. It's different when they're out of print, but trades just go for nothing. Right. You famously can't give them away. Most of them, they're very, very difficult to sell at a good price.
Blowing my mind, sir.
Yeah, I'll blow it all day long. Right, what else have we got to say about this fantastic issue? That's the end of my notes. I don't think I have much of a relationship with this issue. I don't have a memory of reading it. This would have been just before when I hopped on as a kid and was buying them month to month. But I've got a lot of time for it. My God, it feels like a special missions book, though. Maybe apart from all of those wider world panels. Maybe those are the bits that betray it and make you realise it's an ARAR book. The briefing is quite long. Special missions would normally either just go to a cold open or the briefing would be like a page and you probably wouldn't bounce around as much.
Maybe this was a story that Herb had developed and the special missions title had wrapped up by this point and he was left with it. He was like, well, where can I push this into? It is written like a special missions. It's one and done. And I guess they just saw a gap and they inserted it into the main line.
I'd like to sit around in a writer's room and just have where they write ideas on a ping pong ball and just chuck it in. You could have a lot of fun from a special missions point of view with the GI Joe universe in doing that. There's so many great stories yet to be told, or so many characters that get zero time.
A one and done kind of cinematic approach than soap opera storytelling. I think that's always the strongest style for Joe.
I really agree. I'm learning that about reading this ARAR run, that I love treating each issue in a vacuum and almost turning it into a one and done, even if it has a beginning and an end. These big arcs, like these massive arcs, I just don't know if they lend themselves to monthly drops. Like in the new ARAR, I was really, really struggling month to month with
too much continuity.
It was just so slow. It was like wading through treacle. I respect that if you've got a month's issues next to you, you could just go through and it might actually have a nice pace to it, like a slow burn. But God, when nothing is moving forward month to month to month, it's, I don't know. I just think GI Joe, with the expansive roll call of characters that it has, it should be special missions style. That's almost the only way I can think of tackling it without just
ironic that this issue, we can praise it for kind of being a one and done and that being the best vehicle for getting a colorful roster of characters together. But this is absolutely route one with like GI Joe royalty, Snake Eye, Storm Shadow, and Scarlet. Your heaviest hitters. Finally get to do a mission together. Maybe this was a response out of those characters not getting enough like mission time together.
I imagine you've covered this on the flagship. You must have done
not nearly enough.
No. Sorry, but have you covered the concept? Have you just sat there and been like, right, let's all pick our top 3, either characters or scenarios that you don't feel have played out in GI Joe? I think that would be a really fun episode. So either, a character that you think should have a special missions, or a scenario that hasn't been covered in GI Joe yet, or like a trope. I think that is fun.
I'm going to file that one. That is a good topic.
You should file it, because God, my bucket of action figures. There's so many in there. Yeah, not many of them have had any page time, or certainly cartoon time.
Everyone's got their favorite toy, and you either were lucky enough to have them get a focus, or you are still waiting. Now, I wanted to draw attention to two things, get them on record, just so I can kind of put them to rest. This is a very strange Battle Android Trooper appearance. Scarlet kind of drops down onto one and crunches it beneath her boots.
Yeah, it's got like a fixed helmet almost attached to its body. It's, feels like a human in some kind of spacesuit.
Yeah, the visor is all wrong.
No, the whole thing is wrong. It doesn't have a neck. It's odd.
And then the other...
Would that have been a version 2? Sorry, would that have been a version 2?
No, that's still version 1.
Wow.
It's got the grenade in the same place. There's a scripting error which has always bugged me as a kid, because it made the scene very, very ambiguous. Because Scarlet reveals herself to be an Echo robot, except she's actually real Scarlet. She's not an Echo robot, but she's trying to convince the guys in the control room and Cobra Commander that she is an Echo robot. And Cobra Commander says, excellent. Well done, my devious Echo robot. Guards, open the doors to the access doors to the assembly facility. And then someone fires back saying, Echo Scarlet, turn off the homing device. Now,
she's not in the room yet.
That should be a techie saying, Echo Scarlet turned off the homing device.
Yes, totally.
So, because this isn't an actual Echo Scarlet. We're not getting any kind of like signal relay from her. So she must have turned it off.
Also, I honestly feel like Cobra Commander is just having fun here. I don't really truly believe he is taken in by this.
Oh, hang on. I realized I was still reading this bubble with child's eyes. It just made sense to me. He's telling the robot to turn the homing device of the explosive off. This isn't a location piece of equipment to help the robot find its way through the building. As I had previously thought. Sorry, man, I'm not going to edit that out, because warts and all, it's delightful that I've just, 30 years later, been able to correct myself. But
Storm Shadow says nuts.
Boy. Yeah, he does. Nuts.
Oh, nuts. There's some good 90s stuff in here. Like, they always... Do they call Cobra Commander Slime Ball or something? There's just good, call your villain names. Something that made... I forgot to write it down. But anyway, go back.
Scale face.
I just feel like Cobra Commander doesn't really give two rocks about them getting in or not getting in, or if she's real or if she's not. He's clapping. He really just seems like he's having quite a lot of fun here. He's just, I think he's just enjoying being a mustache twirling villain here. Look, even his clap is one of these. There's sarcasm implied in how his hands are drawn. He's not doing this. He's sort of doing this.
Yeah, clapping off. You poor devils.
God, he's surrounded by so many robots. It's a wild concept.
It feels curious that he would insert himself as the real commander into a situation that's manned by robots. Like, surely he feel like danger.
Is that ambiguous? Maybe we could just Nolan that in. Because why is it necessary for him to be there?
Yeah. Well, he does escape quite elaborately. He blasts off in a stellar stiletto. Like, that's extreme high velocities, to ensure his safety. So it's assumed that he is the real deal. But he hasn't actually been there at all, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it gets philosophical. When the bomb goes off in the building, is there a noise if there are no ears to hear it, implying that like there were no flesh and blood human beings in the Cordoba consulate or in that area.
It's a beautiful moment. I'm here for that. We used to talk about that as a kid. I think that the saying is, if a tree falls in the forest with no one around, does it make a sound? Well, set up some goddamn mics. You'll pick up something.
Speaking of, we've chewed the mic for an hour 20. I think that is a wrap on episode 72.
72 episodes of Chasing Joe. Freaking hell, we are nothing but consistent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See you next week, everybody.
Yeah, look, that's all I've got to say. We will see you next week for another exciting episode of Chasing Joe. Until then, look after yourselves. Have a good weekend.
Check out Ben's
Whatnot.
Whatnot?
Yeah, I've got a show. I've got a Marvel show. Although I won't do because this is in the future and it's weird and my brain can't work it out. But anyway, have fun.
What you're going to be doing 2 weeks from now, Ben.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing 10 minutes from now. Probably I'm actually going to finish off this DeLorean, I think.
Oh, delight.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, see you, S-Jubs.
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe!